Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Construct Strategically Yarns with Andy. I've got Cian here, who's the managing director of Quantum Contract Solutions, a company based in Australia. It's one of the first podcasts I've actually done online. I'm actually quite excited for this, and it's here from Cian. Hey mate, how's it going?
Hi Andy, I'm exceptional. I'm very good. I was up very early this morning dealing with some US clients, and now dealing with you in New Zealand. So yeah, it's nice to be talking to people from all around the world. It's fantastic.
Yeah, that's awesome. Tell us a little bit about Quantum Contract Solutions and what do you do for the construction industry?
So what we do is the problem we solve really is construction subcontractors out there are engaged on big construction projects more often than not, and they're asked to sign contracts. And not only are they asked to sign contracts, they're asked to manage contracts.
Yeah.
And so what's actually happening in the industry at the moment is, or for quite a while actually, is that the risk gets pushed down the way. So there's a contract. Yeah. So there's a contract between the principal, the top dog, the owner, and the main contractor, general contractor, right? They'll agree a contract, and then, they both have lawyers on both sides of the table. They're happy enough with the risk, right? Enough. But the main contractor, the tier one to make it easy for terminology, the tier one will then subcontract out all of the work. And in doing that, he will change his contract down the way to push the majority of the risk down to the tier two contractors. So the subcontractors, the suppliers, these suppliers of material, the service providers, supply and install, design and construct, whatever type of, tier two construction company they are.
Yeah.
And what actually happens in the real world is these guys don't have the teams to be able to deal with them. So they have no idea what they're signing up to a lot of the time, or they do kind of, but not really. Or maybe they're of the opinion that if I try to negotiate, that they're not going to get
the job.
They're not going to get the job
or get future work.
Or get future work. And incidentally, we have this as part of our internal meetings. We do every in our internal meetings, we try to put a client review in there, and the purpose of that internally is we're doing good stuff for the community. We're look at the results we're getting for our clients to motivate our internal staff. And today's one was one client got 80. We put forward 18 departures, and all 18 departures were approved. Everything.
Wow.
And so it makes you think, sometimes these guys, they just get a contract from a lawyer and they just send it out there. And then you send it back with your stuff. And sometimes they're just like, yeah, fine, let's go. Yeah. And they'll just agree to it. So a different way to think about it. And so they end up signing bad contracts, and then something bad goes wrong, and they go out of business, or they lose a lot of money.
Or they're in delay and dispute and they can't afford lawyer fees.
Absolutely. Right. And then in the post-award phase, they're asked to do certain things in the contract. And then they more often than not, they ask their own project manager to do the contract stuff as a bit of a side hustle to his regular job.
Yeah.
And he doesn't do it properly. Then they don't submit their variations. But the problem is, the impact of that is that when you do work and then you submit your variation, the variation doesn't get approved for ages, or it doesn't get approved at all. You're essentially financing the project for the tier one contractor.
Absolutely. You're bankrolling them.
You're bankrolling them. But you're just transferring, they're having better cash flow because of this scenario, and you're having worse cash flow. And so you're just making it very hard for you to do business because your cash flow is so bad.
Yep.
So
funny story though. My world's exactly the same.
Is it? Okay, good. It's the same all over, right? It's a systemic problem in the construction industry, but then also disputes. People find themselves in disputes, and obviously that's, the thing about disputes is it's a race to see who loses the least amount of money.
Yeah.
And so what we try and do as a company is we take that part of the business, and we go into your business and we go, right, we're going to do all your contract reviews and your contracts negotiations to make sure you avoid signing stupid things, basically.
Bad contracts.
Right?
Yeah.
Bad contracts. Sign stuff's going to reduce your risk. Then in the post-award phase, we're going to come in, we're going to do all of your contractual paperwork to make sure that you don't like not get paid what you're supposed to get paid, or get delayed. And then in the post-award phase, give you the advice when you need it, at the exact moment you need it, to make sure you avoid the dispute. Because once a dispute has happened, the ship has sailed.
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
Not, right? We're now in the race to see who loses the least amount of money. But if 1 week prior, from you sending a nasty email, right, you had a meeting with the right guy that said, okay, let's not do it that way, or walking off site is a bad idea for these reasons, then you could avoid the whole thing, right? So it's getting the right advice at the right time.